Hello! So this evening we are going to take a look at Leeds Bradford Airport Echo Golf November Mike from Inibuilds in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you can see it's very reasonably priced, it's about £12. If you scroll down you can see there's lots of information about it on the website, and we're going to go and have a look around it on the ground here, and you can see obviously in these screenshots it's really nicely modelled, so we'll get to see all that in a few moments. So it's a lovely evening in the UK. It's been horrible weather all day, but now it's given way to some quite picturesque clouds and a lovely sunset coming up, so we're going to have a look around Leeds Bradford and then take off in the BAE 146 and heading off towards Lugano. We're not going to record the whole flight, I'm just going to go as far as takeoff because the focus today is on this airport. So we'll fly the drone camera down. And then we'll come back through the airport looking through the various areas of the airport as we come in. Okay, so as you can see it's really nicely modelled. All the road furniture and everything around the place is very good. There's an industrial estate across the way. There's lots of surrounding buildings that have been modelled as part of the same development. So lots of parking areas, and they're all illuminated at night. It really does look quite something actually. So this is probably one of the better airports I've seen for the simulator. So if we come down through the buildings towards the terminal, we get to see some of the signage on the way in. So obviously Jet2 holidays are based here. So yeah, you can see the attention to detail is pretty remarkable actually. So we'll start out by having a look around the externals of the buildings, and then we'll go inside. So this one really has taken it up a notch from from many of the others that I've seen so far. So obviously this looks exactly like the actual place. Can hear noises going on because I'm running FSLTL in the background to put some aeroplanes into the scenery. That's why the frame rate's taking a little bit of a hit. And the weather, of course. We've got rain all over the place. So there's a lot going on in the sky. There's rainbows and rain clouds everywhere. So you can see in the insides, we're going to have some fun looking around there later. But it's pretty clever. Okay, so that's the ground side outside. Down the far end of the airstrip, if we just go and have a fly around quickly. There's various service buildings. Tank farm over here for the fuel. And across the other side of the airfield, if we just speed up the drone camera to get there. So you can see it's all really nicely modelled all the way around actually. So I have no doubt these buildings are pretty spot on to the real places. So that's Craven College Aviation Academy there. Some sort of factory. I haven't got a map to hand, so I'm not sure what the various structures are for. No doubt if we go and look at signage around the place, we can probably figure it out. Okay, so let's go back over to the main airport buildings. I don't think there's much down that way, no, it's just a turning point. There are some minor buildings. There's an enormous hangar over here. or not hangar, logistics operation. Should we go and have a look and see what that is? So it's the Leeds Bradford Airport. Yeah, it's the industrial estate again. So if we come back in then, let's go and have a look around inside the terminal, because it really is something else. Oh, before we do that, we're just going to go and have a quick look at the roof. I know that sounds like a strange thing to want to do, but it's done really nicely. We'll have a look at the control tower as well while we're here. But yeah, it's very nicely done, isn't it? It's an awful lot of air conditioners. Okay, let's bring the speed down and jump in through the glass of the control tower to have a look around it. I mean, this is just next level, isn't it? It's pairs of binoculars. If we go and come down here, is this actually high enough resolution to see it? I think it actually might be. Whoops. I'm really kind of just touching the drone camera to get it to go slowly enough. Yeah. So it's something else, isn't it? We're going to have a beautiful sunset in a few moments. So let's go and fly out through the glass of the control tower again. And obviously you could walk around here as if you're really here. Look out over the airfield. But I think our interest today is going to be inside the building as well as the taxiways. So obviously we'll get the BAE 146 out in a few moments. But before we do that, let's go and have a look around inside the airport buildings. So the first thing to point out when you look down here from the aircraft is the baggage on the conveyors is animated, which I think is really cool. So this is obviously airside putting them through, and they'll come out on the other side on the arrivals hall. So let's start at one end and work our way down. So what level should we go in at? So into the arrivals hall to begin with. Apologies for my lack of skill with controlling the cameras. So around this side there's not many people around, but once we get over to the main part of the building you'll see a lot more people. But it's just crazy, isn't it? They've modelled basically every part of the airport. So if we speed up a little bit as we come round. Don't think there's much to see down here. We'll just go and have a little look. Nope. So we'll carry on down the gallery. And yeah, we're out of the structure there. Okay, so you might be thinking, oh, that's a bit boring, but we haven't gone to the actual halls yet. They're behind that gallery. So let's go and have a look around here now. This is absolutely incredible what they've done here. So this is the food hall. So we've got Burger King. I wonder if the scenery developers get kickbacks, or if they have to get permission from the various food vendors. There's a duty-free shop with all of the real brand names in it. So yeah, there must be... I wonder how the permissions work. If it's fair use, it must be, I guess. Okay, so yeah, we'll just reverse up and come back out this way. And continue on round. So we've got check-in hall A. Full of people, and it's lighting up because it's getting dark outside. Look, it's really nicely done actually. And then we've got the departure, or check-in I should say, over here. So let's go out through the glass. So we can see there's some more people in this part of the structure. And if you go inside, obviously, the 3D structure, you can figure out there's so much of this. It's actually quite difficult to find your way around it all. So there's the Yorkshire Lounge, which is all modelled. It's mad, isn't it? So these are obviously for entertaining and for doing corporate functions and things like that. But yeah, it's crazy the level they've gone to. If we just nip over the top of the building again. It's getting dark as we speak, isn't it? We ought to go and get on with this really. But yeah, you can see that the way the material modelling works with the light and everything else is very, very nicely done. So I don't think we came in through here. Yeah, it's just the other end of the gates, isn't it? Yeah, we saw that a moment ago. So we'll just whiz down through the airport towards the Jet 2 terminal. You can see it just goes on and on and on. It's really, really wonderfully done. I've never seen this much detail inside an airport, but then I tend to say that every time, don't I? Okay, so finally, we're going to have a look around from an aeroplane perspective around the airport. So there's our BAE 146. It's up and running to save some time, so we're not sat 10 minutes waiting for me to prepare the aeroplane. So it's ready to go. So we're going to press the insert key. We're now inside the 146. We're going to press Shift and P to push ourselves back. Oh, we've got the truck today. We're being spoiled by the simulator. Shall we get the head tracking up and running? I won't turn the taxi lights on just yet. We don't want to blind the tractor driver. So just waiting for him to hook up, and then we'll get on our way. So come off the parking brake. Come on, Mr. Tractor Driver. Oh, there we go, we're moving. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're going to do an immediate right turn because we actually want to go off down here towards the runway. So we'll push back in a straight line. And that will do. And parking brake back on. So just out of interest, what direction is the runway? So we're here on the airfield. This is looking at Navigraph at the plate for the airfield. So runway 32, 318 degrees. So just before while we wait for the tractor to get out of the way, let's move the heading bug to 318 degrees. So there we go. And head tracking back on. Parking brake off. Ease the throttles forwards. And a right turn. And we want the taxi lights on, please. So I always feel that getting an aircraft perspective of an airfield is always a bit more interesting. So we're going to the taxi route. It's a huge rainbow out there. So the reason we got such poor frame rate is really, I think, to do with the weather. When you get very complex weather like this, it does tend to kill the frame rate. Okay, so we go right here and then we carry on down the taxiway towards the airport, the runway I should say, not the airport, and then we will need to backtrack. So it's a little bit uphill here. Have a look at this from outside with the sunshine, or the sunset I should say. All of the features around the airport are really nicely done, like the radars and the aerials and various structures. I've been super impressed with it. So as I said, I'm not going to do the whole flight on this video because I'm going to keep it short and sweet just to show you the airport really. So we'll get turned round and we'll depart and we'll look back at the airfield disappearing behind us as soon as we've taken off. So I've got lateral navigation configured. We've got RNAV mode on the guidance system, which means it will use the new GPS. Is it UNS1 it's called? Can't remember off the top of my head. I've programmed it in anyway. So let's tighten this turn up because we can. Okay, sunset takeoff from Leeds Bradford in Flight Simulator about to happen. So let's use this extra bit of runway, might as well make use of it. Full throttle. Could do with some dome lights, but I'm not going to go searching around for them while we're running on the runway. 100 knots, 120, so begin to rotate. Gear up. Just trim it out slightly. Autopilot on. And oh, we should have had the landing lights on there. Okay, so the autopilot should deal with the first turn, so we'll see what happens. Oh, did we? Yeah, we had it on lateral navigation, didn't we? Yes. And yes, there it goes, look. Turning out on the standard instrument departure. So there goes Leeds Bradford behind us. With some stormy skies all around. Right, there's a huge rainbow there. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. So that was the Leeds Bradford from Inibuilds we've been looking at and having a wander around, getting lost inside the airport. We were using the drone camera to fly around. I know I get that question quite often, saying how do I manage to move so smoothly around the airport. I use a drone camera and I use an Xbox controller. and then I just turn the speed down on it. Okay, so I'm going to leave you there, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.